Echo here, coming out with another video. This time we're going to talk about something that has people spinning around. It also has people that are pretty angry and up in arms. And if you don't know what it is and you have questions because you haven't seen the hateful responses, well, we're talking about Stranger Things, the series finale. Well, of course, it ended with the high school graduation for class of 89, but how did we get there? Well, first, we should probably say that Vecna, or Henry, however you want to look at it, he got taken out by the team and there were zero deaths. Again, there was zero deaths, but we got more of Vecna's story. How back when he was a kid, he found the guy who was carrying a briefcase and was actually a Russian spy. Now, I'm told that we actually needed to watch that prequel school play to understand the missing pieces, but of course, we found out through just, of course, context clues and things of that nature that is pretty much a matter of he kills the guy after he gets shot by the guy. And of course, he kills the guy as a kid, but he ends up taking a briefcase, and that's where he gets his powers from the Mind Flayer. Another important piece for the series finale is to understand that as long as there's people like Eleven and her sister or the other powered people, they are going to use that blood to try to experiment on more pregnant women, which of course is something that we want to prevent. The good guys don't want that to happen. So, well, let me rewind. Of course, I said Eleven's sister, and that means for the series finale, they brought back the person from the worst episode of the whole series. I wouldn't say the worst character, but I'll definitely say the person from the worst episode of the series. They brought back Callie, and would you know it, Callie is a stick in the mud. Callie doesn't like anything. Callie wants herself and Eleven to kill themselves. Well, by the time we hit the last episode, we are already halfway there, and Callie ends up getting shot, and the rest of the team ends up going into the abyss. So, a lot of wins in this episode. One of the first things that we should applaud is the fact that Holly and the rest of the kids got saved right after Lucas saved Max. Obviously, I'm going to stop here and give props to Lucas for being able to carry Max after he got super hurt by that Demogorgon earlier in the series, maybe an episode or two earlier. So, being able to carry his girlfriend around while he's injured, that's definitely props for that. So the kids got saved, and then they end up going to all fight Vecna. They're all doing a really cool fight scene there in the abyss. We fight Vecna. We get the cool scene where the mom beheads Vecna because they're all going through the things that happen because of Vecna. Remember, the whole series is a product of not just a Demogorgon, not just a Mind Flayer, but the whole series is because of Vecna. From the start of the kidnapping of Will all the way to Eddie being killed. Now remember, no one else got killed after Eddie. That might be a reason that people are up in arms. You have such massive battles and massive fights, but no one gets killed besides Vecna. The end, of course, after they stop Vecna, they get to the scene where we have Eleven sacrifice herself. We're gonna get more into that later. Let's skip ahead because there are theories about what really happened to Eleven. So first, let's go to the facts. After the high school graduation, we get to the point where we get to our older students. So we get to Nancy, who dropped out of school to work full time as a journalist. We have Steve Harrington, who is coaching, and he's also teaching sex ed. We have Robin, who's going to Smith University, and we have Jonathan, who's going to NYU as a film student. So those are the older kids. And this is a theory based on what Mike said, but we are taking this as gospel or as fact. First, we have the fact that Lucas and Max are together and they're finally get to see them. They finally go to the movie theater and get to see movies as they planned. We get to Will, who finally is accepted as how he is, and it looks like he has, his boyfriend, and things are great for him. Now, Mike went on to become a writer, and Dustin went on to pursue academics, and he's in the college and what have you. But I would be remiss if I don't cover the fact that Will originally had powers early in this season, but it most likely means that without Vecna there, he no longer has his powers. Because in theory, Eleven and Kali no longer being around is a moot point if Will still has powers, but of course it has been confirmed that Will no longer has his powers. The vitriol online can go either way. Maybe it's the fact that everyone had a happy ending, and we're up in the air about 11. Now, when we get to 11, 11 has what I call the Inception ending. Spoiler alert for Inception. But it's a matter of did 11 survive or did 11 not survive? Just like when it gets to Inception, did Cobb get out of the dream or did Cobb not get out of the dream? So we get to 11, and the theory presented by Mike is that Kali, 11's sister, even though she was dying from a gunshot wound, she projected 11 to say goodbye to Mike and everyone else and to show her destroy when the Upside Down was being blown up. There are detractors of this theory and are people who buy into this theory, of course. To get our happy ending, everyone would want to get into this theory. But there are reasons to go against both sides. The people who go for the 11 survives theory point out that Kali had a twitch in her finger whenever it was an illusion, and 11 did that twitch with her finger later. And she also mentioned to Mike that Mike sees the real her, as in 11 was an illusion at that point. The people against the 11 survived theory point out the fact that Kali was at the lab, or her body rather, was at the lab when the Upside Down was being blown up, which means her body would have been destroyed way before the explosion got to where 11's body was being shown. And the fact that 11 being shown with the three waterfalls, which is too much of a happy ending. So that is both sides of it. Those are the detractors, and those are the ones who fall into the happy ending theory. I don't think it depends on, of course, who you are. Some people go for it, some people go against it. But once we get out of the 11 part, everyone else had their happy ending. Even Joyce and Hopper. Hopper proposed, and Joyce and Hopper are most likely going to be moving to Montauk. Hop got offered a position in Montauk, New York, and most of you in the know remember that Montauk was actually the original setting for Stranger Things. Now, is it the worst series finale I've ever seen? No, definitely not. I reserve that for Dexter and The Sopranos. I don't see the reason for the hate online that I've been seeing. The only thing I didn't like about it is I think that when Will came out, it should have been a little bit more intimate. I mean, he had people in his coming out meeting who barely knew him or who didn't know him at all. I don't think it should have been as packed. I mean, your coming out should be intimate and should be with people who actually know you. I mean, he even had Kali there who, pretty much was minutes away from trying to kill herself. There was no reason to do that. Other than that, I didn't have a problem with the series finale, but what do I know? So again, I thought it was good. I thought it was okay for what it was. I mean, we've come a long way with those kids. I mean, season one was almost 10 years ago. We got to see these actors and characters grow up. So I thought it was a lot to it, more than just a happy ending. There's a lot to the show. Now, as far as the future of the show, there's some people who say, well, the show's over. What can they do? I like to point out that years ago there was a show that only had 3 seasons, and it turned into cartoons, movies, and even a new show a few years ago. Of course, I'm talking about Star Trek. So, if Star Trek can go somewhere, maybe Stranger Things could do the same thing. They do have a plan for Stranger Things. The next property is going to be Tales from 85. So, there is a future of Stranger Things, whether we like the series finale for the original TV show or not. But that's it for me. So, talk to you later. Thank you.